Close your eyes and imagine you're an ambitious person with aspirations and goals. Your strength would help you succeed where others would not. However, when you try to make your dreams come true for you and your family, others declare you a frightening and manipulative character whose death was well-deserved. You're simply written off in history as the villain.
This is the world of Lady Macbeth, and she is much more than a cruel temptress as others would call her. She is a complex character that has human qualities and flaws. As we examine the play, we can see that she is ambitious and desires the best for her and her husband. She is willing to sacrifice for what she believes is best. Although it may not appear in her introductory scenes, Lady Macbeth still retains her milk of human kindness and is not simply a soulless demon and evil temptress.
In the closing act of the play, we can see that she has a conscience and acknowledges what is right and wrong. These qualities make Lady Macbeth a different take on the classical role of Elizabethan woman, and it would be a shame to shrug her off as simply an evil temptress instead of the sophisticated and round character that she is. Thank you for joining us today, and welcome to our TED Talk.
We'll start by looking at the ambitiousness and strength of her character. To analyze, we'll look into the true window into Lady Macbeth's soul, her Twitter account. She often posts personal thoughts and quotes of her conversations, and this gives us a window into her character. We may have translated some of her tweets to make them more comprehensible for this presentation. Lady Macbeth is quite well known for her #unsexed Twitter thread. Some may say that this now famous thread is a manifestation of her evil nature, with its talks of turning her milk into gall and so on. However, what it really shows is her willingness to take part and give up a part of who she is to achieve her goals for her and her husband. This dedication is extremely admirable, as Elizabethan women at that time were considered property of their husbands, and a few women in this era achieved such force of will.
And as any wife should know their own husband well, Lady Macbeth understands her better half, enough to know his weaknesses and his strengths. Through whatever she makes him do, she is always there by his side to support him. For instance, after Macbeth kills King Duncan, Lady Macbeth is there to make sure he gets away with the deed. Some may argue that she is belittling and conniving, but she is doing this for the good of herself and her husband, as she knows he needs to be pushed into action. Macbeth certainly would not have been crowned king without her influence.
A common misconception is her evil character directly influenced Macbeth to commit all of his crimes, but that is not the case. She may be ambitious and has a thirst of power, but she knows when enough is enough. That is evident on her Twitter when she says, "No tear, all spit, what all desire is got without content," in the moments of Act 3. She absolutely has no impact on the actions that her husband commits and is certainly not responsible for the murders of the nobles. As we see, Lady Macbeth isn't even aware of what her husband is up to.
All the events that led to Macbeth's downfall were not in any way influenced by Lady Macbeth. The murder of Banquo and Macduff's family were solely her husband's doing, due to his paranoia from the witch's prophecies. Lady Macbeth was always reasonable and realistic in the actions that she took. She did an excellent job helping Macbeth ascend the throne and did her best to secure his power.
Lady Macbeth also shows some vulnerability when she expresses her inability to kill the king. This is a clear indication that although she can come off as cold-hearted, she does have vulnerable moments for the people close to her, such as her father or Macbeth.
In addition, Macbeth was quite distraught after the events of Duncan's death. She understands the circumstances in which Macbeth goes through in his post-murder stress. She draws attention away from him in Act 2 when he suffers a breakdown in front of the Thanes, and covers up Macbeth's condition when he starts hallucinating at the banquet with the nobles. Although she can seem cold, she shows a true caring for her husband within these lines.
Lady Macbeth isn't a demon whose goal is to cause suffering and trouble for the people of Scotland. She does have a clear conscience and understanding of the things that are right and wrong. She understands that the murder of the king was wrong as she sleepwalks and says, "Ain't damn sport," revealing how the guilt consumes her mind. She hides this guilt, and it holds her back from causing more bloodshed, but as we see by the end of the play, her conscience catches up to her and is the reason behind her downfall.
which is a very untraditional way to die in Shakespeare's plays. This collapse from the inside is a much more human and realistic way to reach a low point. Not everyone will have a vengeful fate come and be the consequence of their actions. Her character arc from the ruthless wife to the shadow of a queen who is driven to her death by guilt makes her more multi-sided than many other characters.
In addition, Lady Macbeth is no stereotypical Shakespeare character. She has a much more pivotal role compared to other women in other Shakespeare plays, such as A Midsummer Night's Dream, Romeo and Juliet, and Othello. Although they may have been interesting characters at the time, all the women in those plays share similar motivations. They're all rebellious women who defy the confines of society, and their entire character arc consists of committing to what they love despite the societal pressures.
So what's the difference with them and Lady Macbeth? Well, for one, her relationship with Macbeth is already well established and not a center point of the plot. This gives her more freedom to be an independent character whose ambitions aren't influenced by others.
And free from the shackles, Lady Macbeth really becomes something unique. As the British Broadcasting Agency puts it, Lady Macbeth appears to be a much more feisty character with ambitions and desires of her own. These are characteristics that could imply a lack of femininity. In Shakespeare's time, an ambitious, ruthless nature was associated with men. Lady Macbeth's rejection of the norm may have been seen as a rift in the natural order. Others may have used this disruption to blame Lady Macbeth for the chaos that happens in the play. But as we see now, this is anything but the truth.
In the past, the perception that Lady Macbeth was simply a terrible demon most likely stemmed from the expectations for Elizabethan women. The fact that she challenged the norm in every way imaginable caused viewers to look at her in only one dimension. But now, perspectives have changed. We can see the other sides of her and see that she is a complex and multifaceted character who has flaws, redeeming qualities, and ambitions whose initial impressions can be deceiving. Thank you for coming to our TED Talk.
How tender 'tis the love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums, dashed the brains out. Stop up the excess and passage to remorse, that no compunctious visitings of nature shake my fair purpose, nor keep peace between the effects and it. Come to my woman's breasts and take my milk for gout, you murdering ministers, wherever your sightless substance. Hashtag unsexed. At Macbeth is too full, oh the milk of human kindness, to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldest highly, that wouldest thou wholly, wouldest not play false, and yet wouldest wrongly win. Thou hast great gladness.
Hey, just killed the king. What do I do?
Nice! Give me the details.
I can't do this anymore.
What beast was then that made you bring this enterprise to me? And when you durst do it, then you are a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more than a man. No time, no place.
Okay, I'll do it.
Not head or spirit where our desires got without content. 'Tis safer to be that which we destroy than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy.
Hath wrung night's yawning peal, there shall be done a deed of dreadful note.
What's to be done?
Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou plowed the deed.
I would have murdered the king, but he looks too much like my dad.
What's that?
Hey, don't worry about Macbeth. He's always been like that since he was a kid. Please carry on eating while he stands on the top of the table talking to a ghost. Out, dumb spot! Out, I say! Who would have thought the old man had to have had so much blood in him?
The body of Lady Macbeth has been found after an apparent fall. Investigators are asking anyone who was in the area or saw what happened to send a messenger.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow.
At Macbeth?
You mess with the Macduffs, you get the Macdeath.
Do what you believe in, even if your family says not to. Hashtag be unique. Do what you want, even if society says it's wrong. Hashtag be unique. Do love who your heart tells you to love, even if no one else thinks it's a good idea. Hashtag be unique. Do what you believe is right, and don't listen to everything your father tells you to do. Hashtag be unique.